I was just sitting here thinking, because I have so many social gatherings coming up. Um, and it just made me think about my tendency to be an introvert. You know, being a Christian, I don't think there's anything wrong with being an introverted Christian. I think it's something wrong with it when you're an introvert before you're a Christian. I was watching this video a while back, and he was talking about like being an introvert as a Christian. And he was saying, as long as you're just pretty much know that you are a Christian first, your introvertness or whatever should not put you in a position where you can't do what God tells you to do. Like, so for example, if God is like, get on that stage and tell all these people that Jesus is Lord, I don't know, I'm just making up something. If my introvertness and my shyness and my reservedness, these are probably not words, I don't care. But if my reserved side and my introvert side does not allow me to do what God tells me to do, that's when it becomes a problem, when it hinders you from doing certain things. But I am an introvert, and I don't think there's a really negative stigma with that. And I don't think when it's time to talk, this is how I am. I do keep to myself a lot of the times. I'm more of the person who, I get to know people by observing them. And I know that sounds creepy, but I observe people. So, but when it's time to talk, like, I can talk. I'm perfectly fine with speaking. Like, it's not like I can't speak to you. I can speak. It's just, I'm not good at initiating certain conversations. Like when it comes to just little small chit chat, I can't do that. Either we're going to have a really good deep conversation, or we're just not going to speak at all, because I find it really hard to keep one of those conversations going where it's like, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? I can't run with that. So I love to talk to people who are very talkative. Like those people who talk your ears off, I love those people because they are conversation carriers. But the thing about being an introvert, this is not going to come in, I don't know why I'm making this an explanation of introvert video. But the thing about being an introvert, from my perspective as a Christian, the thing I can say about being an introvert is the more I get to know people, the more I become the person who can carry a conversation well, because I know you, I know how you react to certain things, I know what you like to talk about, I know what I like to talk about, I know the commonalities we have, I know there's so much that I know. But when I'm first meeting someone, if I've never talked to you one-on-one, if we've never had like a one-on-one conversation, just me and you, and we've always been around each other in big groups, which is a lot of people from my young adult, we have a young adults group in my church, which is a lot of people in my young adults group. I've never been just one-on-one with them, so I don't know how to properly approach them. I don't know how to, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what you like. I only know you from a group perspective. I don't know you from a solo perspective, if that makes sense. But it is extremely hard for me to start new friendships, which I don't like. That's one of the things that I'm trying to break away from in 2018. Leave in 2018 and move past in 2019. I want to be more, I don't know. It's like, of course, I don't want to be something that I'm not. I don't want to force myself to, and I was reading this thing. There's this website. I'm sure most Christians have heard of it. There's this website called like gotquestions.org, I think. It's like a Christian website, and it pretty much answers any questions that you could possibly have about the Bible, about Christianity, about just different things. And they have a biblical perspective. So if you ask a question, they'll give you scripture and explain it, break it down, stuff like that. So I was reading on their website about Christians being introverts and extroverts. And they were just describing the differences between an introvert and an extrovert. And I was like, this is so true. I feel like I'm finally understood. They were like, introverts, we would much rather have a handful of really close friends, like 2 or 3 good friends, rather than having a large amount of acquaintances. And the scary thing about this age, at this point in life, I better not cry. Why am I feeling like the urge to cry? I'm not going to cry. How do you develop really good relationships with people at this point in life? Like, I don't know. I really don't know, because it's like the friendships that I had were developed solely because of the fact that we were young. And I don't know, the older you get, it's kind of like people already have their set friends, and it's hard to build friendships from that. But I'm definitely wouldn't let that stop me from developing friendships. It's just harder at this point. On the 3rd of January, I'll be going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're riding to Tulsa. Well, I'm getting a train to Atlanta, and then we're riding to Tulsa. Well, we're riding to Dallas and then to Tulsa. Anyways, and then on the 31st, I'm sorry, New Year's Eve, the young adults are having like a little party. This is so crazy. They're having a party at one of their apartments or whatever. I just don't want it to be, it's like this pull and tug, or push and tug. It's like, I really want to go. That's the thing about being an introvert too. Like, we want to go. It's just like, if I do go, I don't want it to be weird for anyone else. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, you just feel like sometimes, like, is my presence even wanted here? Like, this is going to be so weird. I'm probably going to be awkward as heck. And I think that's a problem too, that I go into it thinking like that. But it's hard not to at times. I'm probably going to force myself to go, just because I really need to branch out and stop being so homebodied, because that's not helping anyone. I've been waiting. I've been sitting on it a little bit, because to be completely honest, I'm waiting on like one person that I know to say that they're going, and then I'll say I'm going. And I know that's so bad, but I don't know. It's going to be so weird. There's so many opportunities for me to be around them and to get to know them, but it's really hard for me. I'm not going to lie, but I don't want to make excuses for me not to go. So I really want to go, but I don't. I'm just so freaking weird. If I'm around at least one person that I know, I'll feel a little bit better. I'm stressing over nothing. An extrovert, if they were given the opportunity to go to this party, you know, they would jump on it, be like, yes, I'm going. But me, I'm just like, it's kind of like an internal battle. Like, I want to go. Trust me, I want to go, but should I go? That's the question. I want to go, but it's just going to be weird for me because I don't know them like that. And it's like I have to show my face so that I can develop relationships with people. I'm more of the type of person, I could talk to you about Jesus all day. If you want to sit down and talk about Jesus, you want to talk about the word, let's talk. But when you do that little small chit chat and you're like, oh, how's school? How's your day? What did you do today? When you ask me little crazy questions like that, I'm just like, oh, I'm good. And then we're just sitting there in awkward silence. I have been in those situations with awkward silence. And I'm like, okay, what do I talk about? I've had party days, and I don't want to ruin that for everyone else just because I don't drink. I mean, I'll drink the occasional wine, but I'm not a drinker anymore. I don't do anything social. So, like, my presence will literally be pointless. And I don't want to say that because that sounds bad, but I'm still going to go probably because I just need to branch out and stop being such a scaredy cat. But being that I've had such a bad past with like alcohol and just doing crazy things when I drink, I just don't even want to drink. Except for some wine. I'll sip wine. I'll do cute little things like that. But when it comes to like drinking hard liquor, I'm not for it. I'm not for it. Because I've had... And that's another thing, you guys. And I don't want to sit here. I feel like this channel should be open. I should be very open. And I want to be open. So another thing is that I don't feel like there's a lot of people in this group who, like, we don't share similar testimonies. And I'm not taking away from anyone's testimony. I'm not adding to mine. And I'm not trying to make myself seem like, oh, da-da-da-da. It's not even that. It's absolutely not that at all. I just feel like it's harder for me to, I want to say this without sounding a certain type of way because it's not my intention. It's harder for me as a person who has a testimony that comes from living in the world. I have a very sensitive spirit. That is one thing that I have learned about myself. My spirit is very sensitive. You know, I deal with like sleep paralysis. Sorry, I was in the middle of editing this video and I realized I'm all over the place. Just follow me, follow me, follow me, and you will see where I am taking this. Just follow me. Just crazy dreams. I dream pretty much every night. And my spirit is very sensitive. So if it's like a movie or anything that has like, and it's so hard to explain that to people because you don't want to sound like you're crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry. But I do have a really sensitive spirit. What am I crying for? And so the things that they do, certain things that they do, I cannot, you know. I'm such a crybaby. But seriously, like, there's things that they do and I'm like, I could not do that. At this point in my life, I've come from, like, I've been saved from so much. And I think it's hard for me having a testimony that I have. And I don't know their testimony. I don't know their personal testimonies. I don't know their personal struggles. I don't know what they go through. I have no idea. And I don't want to take away from anyone's experience. But it's like you want to develop these relationships with people. You want to have Christian friends. But the church that I go to, it's like we don't share anything in common. Like the things that they find okay, I struggle with. I am such a crybaby. There are certain things that they might do that, you know, I'm like, okay, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that because it's going to put myself in a situation. They'll have these movie nights. I'm not in town anyways because I'm in college. I'm in a different state. And that's another problem. Like, I'm never around since I'm in school. What am I crying for? I don't even know what I'm crying for, honestly. This is nothing to cry about. But just being around certain things. Like, they go out to see movies together. I guess, like, thriller movies, horror movies, in my opinion. But just certain things that they go out and do that I wouldn't feel comfortable with. Like, I can't go watch thriller movies. I have a very sensitive spirit if I watch things like that. My dreams are crazy. Sleep paralysis is crazy. Like, I cannot engage in stuff like that because my spirit is too sensitive, and I know the effects that those things have through movies. Like, I see a lot of things as being demonic. Certain movies are just demonic. I can't touch it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it. And I don't want to be, even as Christians, it feels like sometimes to other Christians you have to explain yourself, and it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating because it's just like, you're a Christian, you should understand where I'm coming from. I've never explained myself to people, so I don't want to take that away from them, like they never listened or heard me out. But I just feel like sometimes when I speak, I'm just going to sound a little crazy because we have different viewpoints on things, and I don't want to make anyone feel like uncomfortable or make them feel like, I don't know, y'all. It's I struggle trying to develop relationships at this point in life. It's hard. I'm not having an easy time developing friendships. It's not easy, but that is definitely something that is worth being thought about. Because, I don't know, I'm still learning a lot about myself as well as other people. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, this is it. I'm just going to struggle. I still want all of that. I think it's just an internal thing that I need to work on. But of course, I do want to go to this party. Don't want to be in a situation where I'm constantly, like, even when I'm around Christians, I'm fighting my flesh. And that's not their fault. They don't know. I haven't even been around them long enough to share, like, anything about myself. They know nothing about me. Nothing personal. It's gonna be a long time of me wrestling with thoughts, and then I'm gonna end up at their front door being weird and awkward, and I don't want that. Like, that's not what I want. I'm leaving that old me in the past, and I want to be a new person. So hopefully by the time that comes up, I'll be straight. We'll see. I hope so. But I'll definitely give you guys an update. I might record there. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird to bring out your phone and be like, hey, let's record. That's kind of weird, right? Yep, it is.